Hey guys, Matthew here. So today we'll be doing another episode of the which uniques to pick up, and this one is going to be going over body armor. So body armor is one that might take a little bit longer because there's a lot of different things that matter when it comes to armors to give them worth or take worth away from them. But in general, honestly, most chest armors I do not pick up. Because what makes a chest armor be worth anything, there's basically two different ways that two different factors that would make a chest armor be worth anything. First off, playability. Is there a ton of build in the current meta playing with that chest armor? Or rolls. Like, are the rolls very good? That being said, very good rolls on a chest armor that nobody uses will not matter. But if anybody uses it, even if it is more of a niche type of unique, if the rolls are like very, very, very good, they can have possibility of being worth something. So I'm just gonna go over the chest armors. I'll try to be fast and try to explain why and what roles matter and whatnot. There is some that I actually don't know. Like I'm guessing Wall Brambles is the upgraded version of Bramble Jack. Like it would just make sense. But some of them I'm sure I'm actually not gonna know which one is the upgraded version of the other because I've just never used it. So Bramble Jack, like I said, obviously not a very good chest armor. I don't pick those up. Solaris Lorica is pretty much the same. I don't pick those up at all. Greed's Embrace. So Greed's Embrace is one that sees some amount of play. It's not a very, you know, fan favorite or like a flavor of the month chest armor. Mostly because of the reduced movement speed kind of kills it when it comes to Magic Find. But if you were to get a Greed's Embrace with 15% quantity, which is a perfect roll, and a very good rarity roll, and also a very good cold resist roll, they can actually be worth something. So for example, I still pick up all my Greed's Embrace. Every single one of the Greed's Embrace I get, I pick up. But as soon as it's not 15% quantity, I just, vendor it. Because it's so long, like the first thing I look at is the quantity. If it's not perfect, I don't even care about the other stats. Quantity is just the reason people use this kind of chess piece. So, there you have it. For me, if it's not 15 quantity, I vendor it. And if it's 15 quantity in bad rarity and bad cold res, I also vendor it. If it's all good stats, then I'll move on to price checking. Iron Heart is one of those armors that, same thing, it's got reduced movement speed. Everything in this game is about just going fast. So unfortunately, it's just not very good. So I don't pick up those. Lion Eye's Vision, that's one that can actually be worth a decent amount depending on the roll. As you can see, the rolls, though, matter like a lot. The life roll ranges from 60 to 100, which means 41 different possible rolls, and then 51 different possible armor rolls. That being said, the armor roll is not that important, but the life roll is very, very important when it comes to putting any worth to this chess piece. It doesn't see that much play, though, like Lion Eye's Vision. Back when Grimro played with it, I believe in Abyss League, it saw a lot more play for the EK builds because you would basically get free level 15 Pierce, so you could have a 7 link potentially, or just a 6 link for very, very cheap with like a portal gem or something. But like I said, the life roll is going to matter a lot. So for me, like I pick those up. But as soon as the life roll is under 90, I'm not even going to look if it's worth anything. Just because, like, I don't typically worry about any uniques that are not worth at least a few chaos. If a unique is only a single chaos, I'm sure the market's already extremely saturated. Especially in very popular leagues, so I don't mess with those. But if you get like a 95 to 100 life roll, then definitely price check them. They're probably worth something. Death's Oath is another one that actually has a lot of rolls, and when chess pieces have a lot of rolls, then they have the possibility of being worth a lot more just because it's a lot rarer to get the very, very good rolls altogether. So for example, all attributes, let's say you had a 48 all attributes and then a perfect attack speed, because attack speed and life are going to be the most important stats on this. All attributes is also nice though. But for example, like a perfect attack speed roll with like a 48 all attributes and a perfect life and whatever armor, like over 200, it's definitely going to be worth something. Not like Death's Oath is not one of these uniques that actually sees a ton of play, but it's still used by some builds. So as soon as the rolls are pretty good, there's some worth. So I pick those up personally. I identify them. Like I said, I check the rolls, attack speed being the most important, and then life, and then all attributes and armor as the final one. And you can always, bless the implicit, so that's not that big of an issue. So yeah, I personally pick those up, like I said, but depending on the rolls, like as soon as it's not perfect attack speed, it's just getting vendored. Carcian's Carapace, I've actually never seen that. I guess it's a boss drop. Okay, no, it's a Bestiary League drop. I didn't play Bestiary personally, so I'm not, like, I don't know any of those. The Brass Dome is obviously one that is a Minotaur drop. God, I can't speak. The Brass Dome, yeah, it drops from the Minotaur, so it's a lot rarer. Like, as you can see, the only roll on this is armor. Personally, I actually don't know the price of Brass Dome, just because I'm not a bossing type of player. But let's look in Incursion currently. Okay, so it's worth a couple chaos. As you see, like 3 chaos. Pretty much seems there's a lot for 3 chaos. So even 5 chaos, I'm guessing it depends on the roll and stuff. So like I said, as soon as things are worth a few chaos, so 3, 4 chaos, I will pick them up. So for example, for these, I would probably pick them up and check the armor roll and then sell it depending on the roll. But definitely worth picking up. Obviously, like all the boss drops are typically worth at least a little something. Comb's Heart, we don't really have to go over that. It's worth, a few exalts every single league. And if you get like a very good fire damage roll, it can be worth a lot more. And then with a good corruption, if you have the balls to corrupt it, then they can be worth a lot more even. Alright, so that's it for the armor. Then we have the more evasion-based pieces of chest pieces. So Brisk Wrap is not one that I pick up. Ashrend either. Foxshade either. The Snowblind Grace is a drop from, is it Thul? I believe it is Thul, right? Yeah. So it drops from either a Thul Breach or just the Thul boss himself in his domain. So this armor personally it's not worth a whole lot. The upgraded version either. But if you get good rolls, they can be worth a tiny bit, so they're worth picking up. Like if you drop one, just go ahead and pick it up, but it's not going to be worth like a ton just because it doesn't have that many people using it. Bronze Life is just not one that's very good. I'm sure some niche builds use it because of increased damage with movement skills. So for example, maybe some shield charge build or something, but I'm not sure how you could make it work. But maybe a very, very good roll could be worth something. So I actually don't pick those up. But you might want to consider picking them up just for a very, very high roll on the increased damage. And maybe a high roll on the increased evasion as well. But like I said, personally, don't worry about that. Fox Fortune is the upgraded version. Doesn't matter. The Rat Cage. Rat Cage has a lot of life, as you can see. It goes up to 200. Even some movement speed. The only problem with it is it takes away 50 fire resistance and then increase your fire damage taken. And also, fire damage taken from hits. Fire damage is taken instead of physical hits, like 10% of fire damage taken. So it's just like, unless you could somehow make sure your resistances are fine, even with this minus fire, which is minus 50, which is a lot. It just doesn't see much play, which means it's just not worth much. Wild Drop is the upgraded version of Brisk Wrap, so that doesn't matter. Queen of the Forest is one I actually went in my other video on when it comes to unique rolls. So for example, just a random Queen of the Forest right now in Incursion is probably like 3, 4, 5 chaos, while a very, very well rolled can be multiple exalts. So like 5, 6 up to 10x if you had like a perfect all around Queen of the Forest. So definitely pick those up and identify them. When it comes to the rolls on this, I can't really tell you one's more important than the other because they're all very important. That being said, the fire resistance is secondary. But the evasion roll is very important when it comes to the worth of this item. The life is so-so, like it's not that big because the range isn't that huge. Same for the fire resistance, but when it comes to cold resistance and lightning resistance, they're both very, very important when it comes to putting a worth on your Queen of the Forest drop, as well as evasion. So definitely one you want to pick up and identify before doing anything with it. Kintsugi, I believe, is locked behind a league specific, is it not? Oh no, wait, it's the prophecy one. So yeah, this is from the Deadly Rivalry prophecy chain. I actually got one the other day. I don't know why I couldn't remember. And price checked it, and they're not worth a whole lot. There's just not much on the armor that you're getting from this. So you're getting some evasion, okay, cool. You're getting some life, okay, cool. Some fire resistance, okay, nice. But less damage taken if you've not been hit recently. It's kind of troll because basically it means if you're not getting hit, the next time you do get hit, it's going to hurt you less. But if you're getting hit in the first place, you know, it's kind of a problem when it comes to evasion builds. And then increased evasion if you have been hit recently. So that's also a problem because it's like you've been hit already, but you don't want to get hit. So Kintsugi is not a very useful chest armor, unfortunately. Euro's fostering, it has multiple different roles depending on the bestial you get. So you can either get a Roa, a Snake, or an Ursa. Ursa is more for the damage. As you can see, there's just physical damage taking, or sorry, physical damage to attacks while you have a bestial minion. The Snake is chaos, so that one's worth the least. The physical damage one is the second. But the big kicker for this chess piece is the Roa, because the Roa gives you attack and movement speed. And typically builds that use these are going to be like very fast moving builds, things like bow characters and whatnot that just move around fast and want to kill packs as fast as possible. So things like Magic Find that don't want to go the Queen of the Forest route can use this because it's just a lot more damage, very, very damage focused. So, but you're not actually going to drop these like when you're mapping. They come from what's it called again? From the Pale Court. So if you ever want to get those, you're going to have to do the Pale Court, which you get from fusing the 4 court pieces together, which is actually, let's see, can't remember exactly the names. The Ember's Key, Enya's Key, Ariel's Key, and Valkyr's Key. By the way, all these key are from prophecy chains. For example, Ember's Key is from the Plague Maw prophecy chain, and you can look the other ones up if you ever want to go farming some Uriel's Fosterings. There's also other things that drop in there that are worth a little bit, like the Epiphany Boots. They're worth something as well, but I'll go over that whenever I get to boots. So Xiri's Ire is not worth anything. You don't have to pick those up. The Perfect Form is the upgraded version of the other one. Of the Snowblind Grace. It's worth a little bit more. The rolls are going to depend, but it's not worth a whole lot, unfortunately. Cosprey's Will. Cosprey's Will is one that's kind of interesting. I feel like Orobots use this quite a bit just because enemies can have one additional curse, and then Chaos Resistance is also kind of okay, I guess. But you don't get life and other things on this piece of armor, so it kind of sucks defensive-wise. But for Orobots, dedicated Orobots, definitely the way to go. Like your curses apply to hexproof enemies means you're basically cursing every single monster in your auras. There's no there's nothing that's gonna like stop your curses. So very, very strong. So this one's worth a little bit, but typically not a whole lot. So for example, if I were to show you, it's just a few chaos. At least when I got one and I sold it, it was just a few chaos. Depending on the rolls, but yeah, as you can see, 1 chaos. There's actually a lot for 1 chaos at this point. But, you know, better rolls can go up to a little bit more expensive, so you might want to consider picking those up. I picked them up, personally, actually. Unlike all the other ones that I was talking about, like this I don't pick up, and whatnot, the Xiri Sire I don't pick up, and so on. So now we have the Energy Shield ones. Skin of the Lords, you're not actually going to drop this as it is. You're going to get the Skin of the Loyal, but that's only from, what's his name? That's only from Chayula Breach. So definitely not very, not something you're gonna get very often. Tabula Rasa is one that I don't really have to go over. Obviously, you want to pick up your Tabula Rasas at the beginning of the lead. They're like 1x. And as the league goes on, they become basically the same price or a little bit more than the price of a divine if they are corrupted. And if they're non-corrupted, they're worth a little bit more because people can corrupt them and try to get like +1 skill gems. So it's something to consider, like corrupting your tabulas. But if you want to never lose money, then just sell them for divines, and there you have it. Or sell them, to players. 1,000 Ribbons is not one that I pick up. I can see this being decent for like leveling a caster for like very very early, but it's just not good. Cloak of Flames is one that I don't pick up either. It's not worth anything. There's just nothing on it. Cloak of Flame, yeah, Cloak of Flame. Sorry, actually had a point in time where it was worth something, but like back when most people played like Pizza Blast, which is Flame Blast totems and things of that nature, just because of Ignite. Like Ignite could kill a boss within a few seconds, so that was pretty OP. But those days are kind of gone. It's somewhat making a comeback, like Ignite and Elemental status in general, or Elemental ailments. But right now, Cloak of Flame isn't worth anything. Delia's Malefaction. I actually don't remember seeing that. Unique Sage Robe. It doesn't seem like it's locked behind any league-specific mechanic or anything. So I'm just guessing I don't remember dropping this if I ever did. So we're just going to go ahead and price check it really fast. Because I didn't check it at all. Daliala's Malefaction. Okay, so 1 Chaos. There's a lot for 1 Chaos. They do go up a little bit though, so maybe it has to do with the rolls. Let's see. It doesn't seem to have any roll on it, so then all the ones that are actually 1 Chaos are going to sell for 1 Chaos. So, probably not worth picking it up unless you want to go against everybody else who's posting them for a single Chaos. So, yeah, I wouldn't pick that up, and I probably never did because I don't remember ever picking one up. Xanthisu's Cassock, I probably just murdered the crap out of that name. That being said, though, it's just not worth picking up at all. Soul Mantle is another one that the rolls are really going to matter a lot. So your Soul Mantle, the spell damage is pretty much the most important stat on there, but the energy shield is also important. So, like, for example, a normal Soul Mantle is probably going to be a Chaos. Probably no more than a Chaos. If I was to price check it right now, Soul Mantle. While, yeah, one Jewelers, 1 Alchemy. Not great. But, for example, this has some spell damage and increased energy shield. So if I were to put spell damage on this, spell damage, and then put it to maximum, which is 25, let's see, they're still not worth a whole lot. It does go up to a Chaos rather fast, but then if I put a very good energy shield roll on it, which goes up to 120, I believe. So let's say 118 or something. Then they're actually worth, something like 5 Chaos, 10 Chaos, 15 Chaos, 20 Chaos. So they are worth picking up and identifying because a very, very good roll will be worth a little bit more. So they're actually going to be worth picking up. So that is one that I actually do pick up myself. The Covenant saw a lot of playtime in Harbinger League because Dark Pact was so free. Like everybody was playing Dark Pact. But the hype has really died down. I don't know if they nerfed it or what, but the hype has really died down. And currently the Covenant's just not worth a whole lot. The Coming Calamity is a chess piece that sees a good bit of play because of auto bomber builds and things of that nature. The only problem is that there's no real roll on there. It's just the energy shield roll. So you might want to pick them up because I'm guessing a perfect energy shield roll is going to be worth like a lot more than a minimum one. But personally, I just don't pick them up. Or if I do pick them up, I just corrupt them, hoping for +1 gems or things of that nature, +1 max all res, things like that, because then they can be actually worth a good amount. The Cloak of Tarm's Islay. I've actually never seen that, ever. I can't really say about this. Oh, the only way to get it is to buy it from a level 8 master. So that's probably why. So you're not actually going to drop this. Is it worth anything? I have no idea. Looking at it though, minions cannot be blinded. Chance to blind. Found magic items, drop identified. I just don't see I just don't see this being worth anything. That being said, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, the 3D art is actually pretty sick. So maybe people buy this just for uh, the the art, because then they put it on their actual armor to look that way, like skin transfer, whatever you want to call it. Vis Mortis. That's a one that, as I again had a lot of play and a lot of hype whenever everybody was playing minion builds. Unfortunately, it's not really the case anymore, so those aren't actually worth a whole lot. I don't pick those up at all. Chaperones is one you always want to pick up and check the rolls. The rolls are going to matter a lot when it comes to the price of it. So the lightning resistance and the energy shield, and you can always, bless the affix, or sorry, the prefix. Wow, the implicit, which is a spell damage. But yeah, the roll you get on this is going to matter a lot when it comes to the price, what it's worth. But they're always worth something. They're always worth picking up. So do pick them up always. Dodri skin. Dodri skin actually is worth something, especially with good rolls. That's another one that people use for aura bots and things like that. Just because you get level 20 blasphemy for free, and you also get what is it? You also get the Dodri's effigy, which is some like thingy you summon with you. It goes around. So the rolls are going to matter a lot. Reduced effect of your curses is the most important on this. Because 33 means your curses are basically only effective to 2/3 of their potential versus 25, which is 3/4. So definitely want to check out on the roll of this. But those are actually worth picking up. Personally, I pick up Dodre skins. Infernal Mantle is not one you want to pick up. Unfortunately, there was a time where they were worth something, but that time is kind of gone, unfortunately. That being said, maybe a very good roll with a good corruption with something like +1 gems, because then you also get +1 level of socketed fire gems, which goes well together with it. That being said, is it worth to like 6 socket them and then vow them? Probably not. And is it worth to Varici 6 link them after you vow them, let's say non-linked? Probably not either. So it is something you might want to look into yourself. But personally, I don't pick up or Infernal Mantle. Fenumu's Shroud, I believe, is Bestiary League. Yeah, that's Bestiary League. So I didn't play that, so I actually don't know. That being said, since it's Bestiary, it's not going to drop anymore ever because Bestiary did not go core. So I don't think you have any way of getting that unless you're playing Standard. The Beast for Shawl, not worth anything, really. It's just some ES chess piece, but there's just nothing on there, really. The spell damage is nice, but it doesn't see much play, so unfortunately not something you want to look into too much. Then we have the hybrid armor and evasion. So Viper scales, I've actually never seen that. Oh, okay, so it only drops from the lab, which is probably why I've never seen that. That being said, I've done quite a bit of lab. Looking at it though, is there some life, some move speed, cannot be poisoned. It looks like a leveling type of item, so probably not worth a whole lot. Gruthgull's pelt is worth a lot, actually. So you definitely want to look out for these. That being said, I've never seen this, and I actually do not know where they drop from. It doesn't seem to be locked behind League Mechanic or anything like that. So maybe they're just very, very rare. So definitely check out your Graphical Spelt because I know those are worth a ton. Belly of the Beast. I don't know what happened to the Belly of the Beast in the past. This league. I don't know if it was the same in last league, but this league they're worth absolutely nothing. It's crazy how much Belly of the Beast is just not worth anything. Maybe it's because of the divination cards that make them make it a lot easier to get them or something. I'm not sure. But you do want to still pick them up because a perfect all elemental resistance roll with a perfect life roll and a good armor roll is definitely going to be worth a lot more than what they are on base. So you do want to pick up your Belly of the Beast and identify them. Lightning Coal is not worth anything, even a good roll. Unfortunately, it just doesn't see much play. There was a time where everybody used this, but that time is gone. So You still might want to pick them up, identify them, because a good, like super good roll, like a perfect life roll, with a very good lightning damage to dex roll, and also a good armor and evasion roll, maybe might be worth something, but honestly, probably not. I don't know a single person who uses this. The rest of Defiance, you just don't even want to pick those up. Nobody uses this, unfortunately. Cherubim's Malathion is another one that was actually worth a lot back in the days of Val Pact, because it just gives you a massive amount of life and a lot of chaos damage, and also a good bit of evasion and armor, so that used to be worth a lot. That being said, there's not that many people playing those type of builds anymore, like the Dark Pack builds. So there's not that many people using it, but still a very good roll, especially the life roll and the chaos damage. So example, like a perfect life roll and a perfect chaos damage roll, or a few off perfect, would still be worth something. So you do want to pick those up for sure. Pharaoh's Fur is Bestiary League, so I can't tell, but you're not going to be dropping those anymore from now on anyways. Vols Protector doesn't have any roll, so they're always worth the same thing. The only reason I actually pick those up is to vow them. I put 20 quality and then I vow them, because if you get something like +1 to all skills, +1 to all socketed gems, they can actually be worth using Verici 8 to 6 link. That being said, it's very expensive, and it's also just a lot of investment, and you need to sell it afterwards, so you might just not want to pick those up at all. Ice Tomb is not one you want to pick up at all. Ambush Charge, you don't want to pick that up. Lightbane Raiment, you don't want to pick that up. Crystal Vault is the upgraded version of Ice Tomb. Kingsguard, you don't want to pick up. Joffrey's Sanctuary, you don't want to pick up. Lore Weave is from selling 60 unique rings, so obviously you're not actually going to drop this, but they're worth something, and they can actually be worth a ton depending on the rolls. Chains of Command, I've actually never seen that. Is it unique? I don't see where you even get that. I've actually never seen that. So if somebody in the comments can help us out and figure out what the hell Chains of Command is, that'd be great. Incandescent Heart. This actually is another one of those, those chess pieces that was quite a bit popular at some point. I remember Demi making a video where he vowed a ton of them, trying to get +1 gems. The rolls on there do matter a little bit, like the life roll especially, and the armor and energy shield, but they're not actually worth anything really, except for vowing. Because if you get a good corruption, worth investing the money to link it, to 6 link it after vowing it. But personally, I don't pick them up. Blood Bond, I don't pick up. Cloak of Defiance is another one that is worth not much, but if you get a very good roll, then they can be worth quite a bit. The mana roll is the most important, but the increased evasion and energy shield as well. So like, I pick those up and I identify them, but if I have under 145 mana and under 145 evasion together, I just vendor them. Victario's Influence, it's kind of the same thing. They're worth picking up because it's another one for aura bots. If you get increased or area of effective aura skills, you definitely want this to be over like 35%, and then your increased evasion energy shield to be like around 140, and the effect of non-curse auras you cast, you definitely want to be 15. So if you get like a 15, 35, 140 roll, then they're worth something. Otherwise, they're probably not worth picking up. Personally, I do pick them up, like I said, and I look for the rolls I said. Dandrobate, from what I know, doesn't see very much play. There's just not that much poison builds that are super, popular right now. At least that's what I think. So I personally don't pick them up at all. Carcass Jack, there was a time where that unique armor was actually worth a lot, but that time is kind of gone. That being said, a very good roll. The thing is, there's a lot of rolls on this that are important. The life roll is important. The all elemental resistance roll is kind of important, but the most important with the life roll is the area damage. That's very, very important. So these, I personally pick those up and identify. If I get like a decent life roll, and then an area damage roll that's like very close to perfect, so like 48 and up, and then a decent evasion and energy shield. I'm gonna sell them. I'm gonna trade them. Otherwise, I'm just gonna vendor them. So they have the possibility and the potential to be worth something, but always the rolls are gonna matter a lot. This I've never seen, but it looks like it should be bestiary. Yeah, this is from bestiary, so I can't tell you. Impulse's Broken Heart, I'm sure everybody knows these are worth picking up. Even a very, very bad roll is worth something. That being said, an amazing roll can be, up to an exalt for a very, very good roll, and like a perfect roll can be multiple exalts. That's obviously because right now it feels like everybody is playing with an impulses. Like all the arc builds and stuff use this. And if anybody's still playing EK, that's probably what they use. So things of that nature. So definitely one you want to pick up and identify. And personally, I just vendor them when the rolls are super bad. But as soon as the rolls are decent, they're worth selling. And when the rolls are like amazing, then you can get a good penny out of it. Thinker Skin's kind of the same thing. Their life roll is pretty massive, the range. And then the increased cooldown recovery speed for throwing traps is like the most important. So I identify those, and if I don't see at least 15% cooldown recovery, I just vendor them. If I see 15 and a decent life roll, like over half, so let's say over 75, and then the evasion energy shield, I don't look at it too much. But if the life roll is decent and the increased cooldown recovery speed is perfect, then I'm going to try to sell those. Shroud of Lightless is going to drop from Abyss, so you definitely want to always pick those up whenever you do drop them. They're always worth something, and obviously the better the roll, the more they're worth. The most important thing on there is obviously the life. You want it to be as close to 10% as possible, but they're always going to be worth something. So Shroud of Lightless you should always consider picking up, identifying them, price checking, selling, but check your rolls because the price can differ a lot depending on the rolls. The Restless Ward is, I don't pick those up personally. It's just not, there's nobody uses this, at least from what I know, so it's not worth a whole lot. Shadow Stitch, I've actually never seen that. It is only obtainable from Tier 3 Corruption Chamber. I see, so that's, okay, yeah. Yeah, that I don't know if they're worth anything, just because, like I just said, I've actually never seen a drop, and I've never fooled around with the vials in the league either. I just stockpile them. Why? I don't know. They're probably not going to be worth anything, and I don't even play standard. But oh well. Xiri Splendor, as you can see, has many different possible rolls on there, so you do always want to pick them up and identify them, because some of these are worth mostly nothing while others are actually worth a lot. I personally do not know by heart which one's worth the most, so I would say always identify them and check your rolls, because I know for a fact some are worth multiple exalts while others are vendor food. So yeah, that's going to be it for the video. This one, as I said, is a lot longer. There will be a TLDR in the comments where I just say basically only the ones I pick up and for what reason. But other than that, that's going to be it for armors. There was quite a few, unfortunately, so oh well. This one's going to be a little bit longer. But until the next one, this is going to be Matthew signing out. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a little something. Be sure to always, like, comment, subscribe. Maybe check out my Twitch. I'm not streaming daily yet, but it's coming very soon, I promise. So if you want to drop a follow on my Twitch, the link is twitch.tv/pathofmath. It's always available in the description of my videos. So, drop a follow. I always appreciate that. Until the next one, this is going to be Matthew signing out.